How's it going, guys? Ethan Page here. On today's video, I want to talk about 5 common mistakes that I still see a lot of bow hunters making out there, regardless of species or style of hunting. These 5 basic things and principles and really fundamentals I really see guys losing out on, and I think it's really costing them in the long run when it comes to success and filling tags. So these are going to be in no specific order, but I'm going to go ahead and go through them one by one and kind of give my thoughts on them and how you might approach it if you're dealing with the same issue. Number 1, not practicing enough during the off season. I see a lot of guys still to this day that are the guys that have their bow, shoved in their bow case down in the basement or tucked under their bed in the closet, whatever, or unstrung for us trad guys hanging on the wall for a large majority of the year. And then that last few weeks or so before season, they get it out and start practicing. Now, I'll be the first to say that you don't have to shoot every single day. You don't have to be an Olympic archer to be a bow hunter. But through repetition and good practice, not just any practice, proper practice and proper planning, you build good habits and you build fundamentals that are paramount building blocks to reinforce what you're doing in the woods. Once a week, a good training and a good practice day, once a week, twice a week at a minimum, that's going to build good fundamentals and good habits. So then whenever you do get into that tree stand or that steep downhill shot in the mountains or that shot from the knees hunting on the ground, whatever, that you have the good reinforcement of proper practice in place that's going to transfer to all those other scenarios. So making sure that you're getting proper amount of practice all year long, including during the season. Don't just come home from the woods, put the bow in the basement or back in the house and not touch it until you hunt again. Make sure you're shooting that thing and you're keeping those skills sharp, because practice is paramount to building the confidence that you're going to need when you actually draw down on that animal. Number 2, and this one is, I won't say that it is critical to your success, but it could be, and that is guys not taking bow tune and arrow tune serious. They're just grabbing whatever arrow, whatever shoots good or decent out of their bow and running with it. Here's the deal, guys. Even if you shoot a compound, granted today's compounds are a lot more advanced than they've been in the past, but you're still only shooting, for the most part, 300 feet per second or less, which compared to a rifle shooting nearly 3,000 feet per second at the muzzle, at least one that you're going to hunt big game with, that's not very fast. There's plenty of videos out there on the internet that you can see of deer dropping and hearing the sound of the bow or sound of the arrow flight and ducking an arrow from a 300 feet per second compound at 25 yards and whirling out of the way like crazy spirit ninjas. And whenever it comes to the tune of your arrow and the tune of your bow, making sure that that piece of equipment, it's vital. It's the very thing that is going to launch that projectile and take that animal. Why would you not want it to be functioning at the highest possible efficiency level? Silencing, taking some of the vibration and sound dampening into consideration, all those things. If you're going to invest money somewhere, put it into testing out different arrows. Find what arrows fly like darts, like laser beams out of that bow. Figuring out good spine, good point weight, your FOC, all those things. Go head first into the deep end on those things, because that's where we're at now. There's so many options on the market that there's no reason to settle for anything unless your budget doesn't allow for it. So jump headfirst into the deep end on tuning. There's so many videos out there. I've done videos, other people have done videos, and then again, for you compound guys, there's a plethora of videos out there on tune. So do those things and invest the time and money into making sure that if something is going to screw up, that it's not your bow. Number 3 is learning animal anatomy. And what I mean by animal anatomy is, I've done a video, I think, last year talking about the proper shot placement on a whitetail deer. A lot of people still think that if they hit in front of the crease on any animal, they're hitting the shoulder and that they're not going to get any penetration. That's not the case. You can go through and watch that video to get more in depth. I'm not going to go super in depth on it. The crease and several inches in front of the crease, probably a good 4 to 6 inches in front of that crease, you've got nothing but rib cage, and that is where the vital large blood vessels, the large air passages are in the lungs. Straight above and maybe even just in front of that crease, that is above the leg, that is where you want to shoot most animals. Bears, things like that. Some animals are a little bit different, but all these things can be known commonly amongst all bow hunters if you understand the anatomy of animals. So I would highly encourage you to do your own research when it comes to anatomy. Learn where vital organs are at, and so you're able to understand, especially whenever you're shooting at off angles, like the quartering to, the quartering aways, know what those muscle groups look like. Know what those bone structures look like. Know where those vital organs are, what they are, and understand all the working parts of an animal, and it's going to make you a much more effective and informed bow hunter, because instead of wondering if it's a good shot to take, you know whether it's a good shot to take or not. If they're quartering to you just the right angle, you can't take the shot no matter what, because the knuckle and the leg bone is completely blocking your shot. So, and you're not going to know that if you don't understand anatomy. There's a lot of guys that have been bow hunting their whole life and still don't understand the anatomy of elk, whitetail deer, whatever. So learn the animals, learn their habits, learn everything you possibly can about them. But as bow hunters, people that we have to put precise shots in a particular spot to make sure we take that animal out as quickly as possible, you need to understand how an animal's makeup is and what its anatomy looks like. Number 4, focusing way too much on gear instead of relying on experience. The commercialization of hunting and the system itself and the whole machine that is the outdoor industry, that's their job, is to sell stuff. I'm not so naive as to not understand that. But what it's done is, and all these TV shows have done, is it's sold people on the fact that if you don't have this, that, and the other thing, that you're not going to be successful. That is the furthest thing from the truth. A guy that hunts with a self bow that he made out of a tree, just like the Native Americans did, homemade arrows and no camouflage, has the potential of being a far superior bow hunter and way more successful than the guy who wears all name brand, who hunts out of a hang-on or a saddle, whatever, and doesn't understand the basics of hunting. So you can put a ton of faith in gear and equipment and never kill an animal, or kill very few animals. And if you want to go even further past that, if you're someone who's only interested in killing mature animals and nothing else, which that's fine, then in order to understand how to get those animals down and get them tagged, pattern them, figure them out, gear is not going to do that for you. So you can spend all the money you want, but it's not going to buy you success that's worth being earned. Instead of dumping a lot of money into gear that maybe if you're a newer bow hunter, that's not what you're quite ready for yet. Go to scouting classes, attend like some of the classes that Dan Infault has on how to scout and find whitetail sign, deer sign, buck sign. Go to those things. Go to the seminars and put in the money and gas going to those things and driving to your hunting areas during the off season, like in the spring, and scouting every nook and cranny of them. And journaling also. I do a lot of journaling throughout the season, things that I've seen, learned, noticed, things that 15 years ago I would have been totally oblivious to, but now they contribute to my success every season. So you're not going to do those things if you don't gain the experience and the perspective. So spend a lot more money and time. The gear's great, but spend a lot more money and time on gaining experience and knowledge, watching YouTube videos, reading books, all those things, and put a lot more stock in those. And I promise you, at the end of the day, those are going to fill tags for you well before spending a ton of money on expensive gear is going to. And the last one, and I think maybe one of the simplest ones that I can't believe people still screw up on, is not paying attention to the wind when you're hunting. There's always going to be the freak scenario where a deer, even a buck, a mature buck, I've seen it, comes from kind of the downwind side of you, and for whatever reason, maybe he's rutted up, whatever, isn't paying attention fully, something else is on his mind, and he comes right to you from downwind and you're able to put a shot on him. It happens once in a blue moon, but guys, I can promise you, 9 times out of 10, a mature animal, an old nanny doe that's been around a while, she knows what's up. They can be just as tough to kill as a buck is, or that mature buck. All they have to do is smell where the wind has blown your scent, and that can be enough to get them on edge, make them turn around and leave, blow, whatever. So if some spots that look so good, that you can have hunting spots that look so good, so great. And this is a lesson hard learned, guys. I'm not just saying that I know it all. I've learned this lesson the hard way over and over again. Spots that look so fantastic that you think, gosh, I could kill a deer there if all I got to do is get there, whatever. But you're going to leave way too much ground scent getting in there. The wind is almost never going to work because let's say it's down in kind of a pocket and the wind swirls, and no matter what you do, the wind is going to blow. Either you're going to have to walk across their trail, the wind's going to blow your scent across the trail, the wind's going to blow in the direction they're going to, come from, whatever. And it's just a spot that ain't going to work no matter what you do, as good as it may seem, and you're going to have to hunt the edges of it until you figure out a good wind. But deer's nose, it's hard for us, I think, some guys to understand, because they think the animals smell like people do, and they do not. Animals live their entire life. They survive off of their nose because most of them don't have very good eyesight. Moose, for example, are notoriously poor eyesight. Bears, notoriously poor eyesight. And deer really aren't that much better. But their nose is super, super, super powerful. To put it into perspective, bears. I heard the best example I think a biologist gave on the power of a bear's nose, black bear, brown bear, grizzly, is that if it smells your footprints where you've walked at some point in very recent history, like maybe that day, not that long, one of your fresh tracks, that is as powerful as skunk odor is to people. That's the kind of difference we're talking here. So whenever you maybe loop out in front of your stand just a little bit too far to check a camera, anything like that, leaving your ground scent, walking in, any of those things could potentially cost you an animal. But before anything else, if your wind blows in places you can't see, so if your wind is blowing the direction those deer are coming from, I don't care how much money, waste of money, that you spend on the scent blockers, the products that you wash your clothes with, the scent proof storage, the ozonics, all these gimmicks that don't work, how much money you've spent on all that, deer will smell you no matter what. If you ask guys like John Eberhart, who do pay attention to their scent, and he also still pays attention to the wind, you have to go to a religious extent to take care of human odor where deer are not going to smell you. So for most of us, the best thing you can do, I don't care if you wear oil-soaked Carhartts to the woods, if you're not paying attention to wind, and the wind is blowing where deer are coming from or where they're going to go to, blowing across a trail, something like that, you're going to have a tough time getting deer. Yep, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, sure. But in general, if you want to kill deer with a bow or any animal with a bow, from sheep, deer, moose, elk, bear, whatever, you've got to pay attention to wind or it's going to screw you over and over and over again. So that's all I got, guys, for this week's video. Be sure to tune back in next week. Like and subscribe to the channel if you like this content, guys, please. I'd love to see this channel grow. It's growing already at a rate that I could never have perceived. But anyway, guys, get outside, shoot straight, come back again for next week's video, and I'll catch you next time.